You are 22 years old and your card gets declined at a gas station. Not because you're broke, you have $340 in checking. You've never missed a bill. None of that matters. The machine isn't asking whether you're responsible. It's asking whether you have a file it can read, and right now you don't have one. This is where it starts for almost everyone. Invisible, a blank page the algorithm can't score. What happens to you over the next 30 years, whether you end up gripping a card that charges you 25% interest for the privilege of existing in the system, or one that waives your hotel status without you asking, isn't mostly a story about discipline. It's a story about a system built deliberately, tier by tier, to treat you differently depending on how much money you already have. You've been told the rules are the same for everyone. Pay on time, keep your utilization low, build your score. True as far as it goes, but it's the beginner's version of a much bigger game, one with tiers most people never see because they never get invited past the first one. Somewhere above you right now, someone with your same habits is being handed a card with no preset spending limit, no hold music, and a phone number that connects directly to a person who already knows their name. This is the story of what a piece of plastic actually says about you, and how completely that changes, level by level, from a $200 deposit to a card that barely functions as a financial instrument at all. Level 1. The applicant who doesn't exist. At 0, you are not a customer. You are a risk the system hasn't priced yet. Banks call this a thin file, or in more severe cases, no file, and it's a bigger population than most people assume. 19-year-olds who've never held a lease, new immigrants with a decade of financial history that doesn't exist in an American database, anyone who paid cash their whole life and is suddenly told implicitly that cash was the wrong strategy all along. The credit bureaus need a track record to generate a score, and there's a catch built into the arrangement. You cannot get a track record without first being trusted with something to track. So the first product built for you is a secured card. You give the bank $200, sometimes $500 of your own money as collateral. In exchange, they give you a line credit matching that amount, not a dollar more. You are in effect lending to yourself and paying an annual fee, often somewhere between $0 and $40 for the privilege of doing so. It feels like a scam the first time you understand the mechanics. It isn't exactly. It's the entry fee. 12 months of on-time payments later, if you're lucky, the bank sends a letter, your deposit is being refunded, and your line is now unsecured. You've graduated. You didn't feel yourself change, the number did. Level 2. Visible, and now they can charge you for it. A score in the 580s, maybe pushing into the low 600s, changes what shows up in your mailbox. The invitations start arriving, and this is where most people's actual relationship with credit gets shaped for years, because this is where the fees live. Annual fees in the $39 to $95 range on cards offering almost nothing in return. APRs pushing past 25%, sometimes closer to 30% on cards marketed specifically to people rebuilding credit. A late fee that can trigger from being a single day behind, sometimes just hours past the due time, depending on when the payment posts. This tier isn't designed to build your wealth, it's designed to be profitable on people still learning the rules, and the profit comes from a simple asymmetry. You need access to credit more than the bank needs you specifically as a customer. You are for the first time visible to the system, but visibility at this level mostly means being priced for the mistakes you haven't made yet, a preemptive tax on inexperience. Level 3. Approved, not yet trusted. Years pass. You keep your utilization under 10%. You never miss a payment, not even during the month rent and a car repair landed in the same week. Your score climbs past 750. Real cards start approving you now. Cash back, a welcome bonus worth a few $100s, maybe your first card with a real annual fee that actually pays for itself if you use it the way it's designed to be used. It feels like progress, and it is, but the terms still assume the worst. 3% on anything purchased outside the country. A fee if a balance carries over because a paycheck landed on the wrong side of a due date. You are approved, but you are not yet trusted, and industry people have a word for you what you are at this stage, though they'd never use it to your face. Unseasoned. This is the tier where most Americans spend most of their financial lives, not struggling, not thriving, approved for things, but still reading the fine print because the fine print still applies to you. Level 4. The first real premium. Then something shifts. A raise. A decade of consistency finally compounding.
a retirement account that's actually grown instead of just existing. Somewhere around a few $100,000 in net worth. Not enormous, not rare, just established. The mail changes shape. Now you're getting invitations for cards with real annual fees, $250, $325, $550. But this time, the math flips in your favor. Airport lounge access, statement credits that offset the fee entirely, sometimes with room to spare. A card that, used correctly, pays you back more than it costs you to carry. This is the first tier where the relationship starts to feel less adversarial and more like a partnership. You call the customer service line and the 20-minute hold doesn't happen anymore. You land in a faster queue because your card tier flags you internally as a customer worth retaining. Late fees get waived on the first call, no argument required. It isn't personal, it's a formula, and it's the same formula operating at every tier above this one. And you notice something else too, a quiet unease underneath the relief. You worked hard to get here, but you can tell from the way these perks are marketed that this still isn't the real tier. There's a different category above this one, and it was never advertised to you at all. Level 5, the invitation you didn't apply for. Cross roughly $1 million in investable assets, and Citigold Private Client becomes available. A tier built for clients who hold at least that much across linked deposit, retirement, and investment accounts, and who in exchange get a dedicated wealth team and a service line built to answer immediately. Chase Private Client sets its bar considerably lower, around $150,000 in investable assets. Proof that private was never one line in the sand, but a ladder with its own rungs, most of them invisible from below. Here, the pattern from level 4 accelerates into something that feels less like service and more like being known. A banker calls you, not the other way around, because someone has already looked at your accounts before dialing. A fee posts that shouldn't have, and it's gone by the next call. No case number, no explanation demanded. You didn't become smarter than you were one tier down. You crossed a number, and the number moved you from a customer the bank manages to an asset it retains. Level 6, the card that isn't really a card. Somewhere past $10 million, the product changes shape entirely. This is JP Morgan's private bank threshold specifically, a minimum the firm set deliberately because internal data showed roughly 90% of its private bank clients already held more than that amount. Bank of America and Goldman Sachs draw the same $10 million line. UBS holds its private banking bar lower at $2 million. At this level, the card most people have only heard rumors about finally becomes reachable. The American Express Centurion, known to almost everyone as the Black Card. Amex has never published its actual criteria, but reporting from cardholders and analysts converges on a pattern, somewhere between $250,000 and $350,000 in annual spending across Amex accounts, paid in full each cycle, alongside a one-time $10,000 initiation fee and a $5,000 annual fee after that. The card carries no preset spending limit. It comes with a 24/7 personal concierge and automatic top-tier status across major hotel and airline loyalty programs. What matters more than any individual perk is what's happening underneath the underwriting. It isn't an algorithm scanning a file. It's a relationship that already existed before the card was ever issued, simply being formalized in plastic. One tier remains, and it's the strangest one of all, because at the very top, the card stops being the prize entirely.
Level 7. The card stops being about money. At $100 million and beyond, the card almost disappears from the story. Not because the wealth stops mattering, but because credit was never really the tool being used at this altitude. People at this tier don't need to borrow against future income the way everyone below them does. They are the liquidity every private bank in the world is quietly competing to hold a relationship with. The card, if one exists in any meaningful sense, functions less like a financial instrument and more like a passport. Proof, small enough to fit in a wallet, that you've been let all the way inside a system most people spend their whole lives approaching from the outside. Cancel it tomorrow, and nothing about your actual financial life changes. The card was never protecting you at this level. Somewhere back around level 5, it quietly stopped doing that job and started, instead, simply decorating you. The friction you feel at the bottom of this system and the friction that disappears entirely at the top were never about who deserved what. They were both just pricing, continuously recalculated the moment your number moved at every level the whole way up. You don't need $100 million to see the ladder.
You just needed someone to draw the whole thing at once, instead of only showing you the single rung you happen to be standing on. Look at your own card, not the rewards program, not the number on your last credit report. Look at how it treats you the next time something actually goes wrong, how long the hold music plays before a human picks up, whether the fee gets waived on the first ask or only after the third, more insistent one. That single moment on the phone is the entire system, compressed into 30 seconds. It will tell you exactly where you stand.
If you enjoy stories that make you think differently about money, time, and the decisions that quietly shape your future, subscribe and join us for the next one.